I'm Jade McNeil and welcome to the BEESPACE Podcast, your bi-weekly dose of business and property realness. No hype, no fluff, and definitely no BS. Just honest conversations about what it really takes to build something from nothing. Well, hello and welcome to the BEESPACE Podcast. Now, before we jump into today's full episode, which is with the wonderful Marta from Pearl Home Staging, I wanted to share with you guys a really exciting announcement about a new partnership that I've formed. I want to take you back to about 6 or 7 years ago via the wonderful world of Instagram, where I met a lovely lady called Lisa. Now, I started chatting to Lisa through my Instagram account because Lisa was drawn to my interior style at the time. And we started to have a chat about, mum life, kids, business, or, all the things that we were into. And soon our kind of online friendship became a more professional relationship. And I would love to say that ever since we've kind of crossed paths, Lisa and I have, definitely enriched each other's business journeys. So, of course, I'm talking about Lisa Wild, who is one half of Landlord Furniture Co. For those of you that are not familiar, you must have been living under a rock if you don't know who these guys are. I started working with Landlord Furniture Co. back in the day when I started creating my HMOs, and I was looking for a product that was just more than okay. I wanted something that was kind of like, I could bespoke, felt more niche, and just felt more interesting, but I didn't really want to be compromised on quality and definitely not paying loads more in price. So Lisa and the team at Landlord Furniture Co. have been my go-to ever since. They supply solid pieces that are designed with the utmost care. Genuinely, not one of my pieces of furniture is broken across multiple properties, hundreds of tenants and guests, which just goes to show what their durability and quality is all about. All of their key pieces of furniture also come with a 3-year warranty, so you know that your investment is protected. The Landlord Furniture Co. team are incredibly flexible and always a pleasure to work with, especially when we, as developers, we grapple with pushbacks and delays and issues with the build process, tenant move-in delays, delivery, there's so much that we face. But genuinely, these guys at Landlord Furniture Co. are absolute, with a hand on my heart, market leaders in customer service. And I'm not just talking about the team in the office, who are, of course, fabulous, but also all the way through the process, down to the guys that deliver the furniture into the buildings. I've never, after hundreds of deliveries from them, I've never had anyone turn up that's not got a big smile on the face. They're always so courteous, always so supportive and understanding, which, on a busy site that's coming to the end, you kind of just need people to turn up and help and crack on. And they've always just been absolutely brilliant to deal with. So, guys, I started this pod because I really wanted a platform to kind of share my experience and other people's experiences of what it actually takes to build a business from scratch, from the ground up. And there's no better example of this than Landlord Furniture Co. So Lisa's other half, Dale Wild, actually founded the company after he stopped serving in the army and came out and, stumbled into the world of property and saw that there was a gap, as nobody was doing market, leading high quality, resilient furniture that was design led. And his mission, Dale and Lisa's mission ever since, has been driven to really fill that gap and really elevate the customer service experience that we as developers get. And my goodness, guys, you have nailed that. So this is why I'm so proud and happy to announce that Landlord Furniture Co. are now the official sponsor of the BEESPACE podcast. Honestly, guys, I actually feel like a real legit grown up telling you this. I'm genuinely so excited. And it just goes to show, Landlord Furniture Co. want to sponsor me on this podcast and, those really early stages, because they believe in the power of supporting female-led businesses within the property and business space. So whether you're a seasoned investor or you're just starting out, understanding the quality and practicality and the design, that you need with your furniture within your properties is so important. Head to the link below to see more about Landlord Furniture and how you can reach out to them. And guys, listen, they have the most amazing showroom that you can go and visit. And it's literally got the most beautiful furniture, all styled in a certain way. So you can really see a vision of what you might want in your properties. They've got thousands of swatches. they make it so easy for us as developers to be like, yep, that's it. That's what I need. They're an absolute no-brainer for me. Like, hand on my heart with this one, because you can go back through all my portfolio. You can scroll all the way back to the beginning of time on my Instagram. I've always worked with them, genuinely. Just being able for me to be able to create a product that is really design-led and conscious, but still within my budget. It's just been a game changer. So yeah, I'm so excited and happy to share this amazing announcement with you all today. So get ready to hear more about Landlord Furniture Co on the pod, and what products I've chosen and why I've chosen them. And also, obviously, I'm going to have Dale and Lisa on the pod to share their amazing story, because as their business associate, and also I'd like to think friend, it's been just amazing to watch what they've scaled up, over the years. They've gone from strength to strength, but as people, they've kind of just always been the same. And yeah, so shout out to Dale and Lisa, and of course your amazing team at Landlord Furniture Co. So now let's do it. Let's jump into this episode with the wonderful Marta. So this is exciting. Today I've got my first ever guest on the BEESPACE podcast. Hi, Marta.
Hi, Jade.
How are we today?
Excited.
Good.
Yeah.
Good.
First time ever podcast in English. So yeah, very excited.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So obviously anyone that's listening to this, this is a bit of a guinea pig test, and poor Marta was called up for the job. As you're my first ever guest, so yeah, let's see how we get on with the audio and everything like that. But we're going to have a great conversation. So thank you for joining me today. So Marta, tell me, let's jump straight in. Set the tone for me. So in a few sentences, tell us who you are and what your business is.
Right. So my name is Marta Lyskawa, and I'm the owner of Per Home Design, home staging business based in the Leeds area. So what I do, I just try to help my clients move on with their life, sell the property, stage the property correctly for HMO and service accommodation. And I'm also a mom of two lovely kids. My daughter is 12 and my son is 8. I'm a wife as well. Yeah, so that's me in a short.
Yeah, good. So obviously, I think we can tell, that you are Polish originally,
Yes.
but you're obviously here now in the UK. So that's probably a really sensible place for us to start sharing your story. So tell us what brought you to the UK. Like, how long ago was it, and kind of what was your situation?
Okay. Well, it all started in 2007, so you can count how many years I'm in the UK. Well, the idea was just came here for 1, maybe 2 years, earn some money for our wedding, and that's it. But we came to London, stay with my cousin, and after 1.5 years, we moved to Halifax, up north to beautiful Yorkshire, where we just fell in love, and we just decided to stay. However, my career was slightly different to what I'm doing now. So I finished uni in Poland in finance and accountancy. And then this is what I wanted to do in UK. So I finished another uni in UK, and I found the work in finance. And after 13 years, I've just decided to change my career.
So you mentioned, have I got this right? You went to university twice, once in Poland, once in the UK.
Yes.
Ah, okay. So you've got 2 degrees.
Yeah.
Both
in finance and accounting.
Both in finance and accounting.
Yeah,
oh, wow.
Yeah. I think you just need it here, Numbers are numbers, but systems are different. Names is different. So I have to basically learn everything from scratch. Same when I came to UK, I didn't speak English at all.
Oh my goodness, I did not know that. I did not know that.
The first 2 weeks was the best weeks or the scariest weeks, where I learned basically everything. So I've learned how to count number, because my first job was, just imagine a small room divided on two walls. One wall was dry cleaners and the second wall was wedding dresses. So there was a couple where she had the wedding dress, she was designers, and he ran the dry cleaner. So I have to operate for both clients. So I have to know the name of the clothes, how to talk to them, small talk, all of that. So I learned all of that in the first 2 weeks, and then obviously carry on over the next few years. But I learned German for 7 years.
Oh my goodness. So put us in that place then, anyone that's listening. What is it like coming to a new country, not being able to speak the language and having to very quickly learn and adapt? Because essentially you needed to do that to pay your bills, right? To pay your rent, to earn the money. What does that feel like?
Wow. I was young. I was 21 years old. So I think I wasn't thinking.
Like a sponge.
Yeah. Well, I'm still thinking I should be more brave of making mistakes. So that's absolutely something I regret. I was too shy to speak English, I'm not speaking perfect, so I'm not going to talk to you, to practice. And I know now I should have done this. How does it feel? I felt a bit secure because I had my cousin surround me, so I live with them. But obviously we have to pay for the room. I had the job, so I know the money will be there. But yeah, it's still, yes, I think it was scary because you didn't know what to do. But in my head it's fine. It's just 1 year, or maybe it's just 2 years. I can do it. I've done it in the past, so it's fine. There is nothing that I can't overcome. So yeah, my life showed me that if I'm determined and focused enough, then I will just go through everything. So yeah, I think that's what kept me going.
I know. So I'll put a bit of context into our kind of working relationship together for any of the listeners. So obviously I've been lucky to be, you've been on my business coaching program for the past 6 months. So in that time, I've got to know you quite well and kind of what makes you tick and what sort of person you are. And obviously you've shared some of your story with me, but not to this level of detail. So it's really interesting to get that backstory. I know from our conversations that you are part of quite a few large online Polish communities of young entrepreneurs, or all entrepreneurs, and you're quite a figurehead in there. What talk to us about that? What's that like? What do you do?
Right. So yeah, let's come back to 2018, where I just had my light bulb moment, and my son fell asleep all night. He was 2.5, and I had a friend. She always went to all of those Polish networking groups, various different ones, but there were small groups. But I wasn't ready for it. Till one day she asked me, and then I said, okay, I'm going to go. There is what else? I've got the power. I've got the energy now. Yeah, I'm ready to meet new people. So then I went, and I've just met wonderful people who inspired me. They did something more than just go to job back home. Because I also been at the moment where 3 months early before I actually went for the first meeting, I had that, just big thinking moment of what I want to do in my life, because I feel there is something more calling me. So there is something else, in my family, everyone say, just find a job that you're happy, you earn money, you buy the house, you have a husband and children, going on holiday once a year, and you're happy, and it's done. And then I thought, I'm not ready. I don't feel I'm done. So I wanted something else. So those networking just show me there is something else. And I met a few people. Then I attend 2 different networking groups. And there was all property networking groups. And they grow over years. So the one I've started attending in Sheffield, run by David Dovbush, started in like a pub. And now there are 400 Polish people attending every second month now, I think. So yeah, it's grown huge, and it's showing the determination and hard work that
absolutely
you as well.
Yeah.
So I'm really appreciate for some of the people that met me at the very beginning, and they saw something in me. I was sharing like my hobbies, my interest, my passion for interiors. And I just show a few projects, what I've done for family, friends, and they just offer me to be a speaker at one of the events and speak about home staging. And this is where all started. So I've done one speech about home staging, then someone else contacted me, and I've just become like a first big person in Polish community speaking about home staging.
Incredible. What I love about that story is it just feels, and it's similar in my own story with Creative BEESPACE as well. It just feels really organic, the beginning seeds of what you were going to come. And you didn't even know at the time that it would go to where it's going to go, where it is today and where it's going to go to.
Absolutely.
But it was like really organic. And again, so much similarity in my own story where babies are small and you've kind of lost a bit of direction. And then the thing just happens to you. And it's like, this is exactly where I need to be. But with me and with you, we sort of needed the outside world to say, you've got a thing here. It's brilliant. You should do something with it, because we don't often see it within ourselves, do we? You know, that we've got this, superpower within us, creatively, that we can turn into an actual real business. Yeah. Do you think this is kind of like an interesting question, actually. Do you see yourself as a natural entrepreneur?
Probably not. Not yet.
Yeah, me neither. It's kind of something I always reflect on. Like, I used to say for years, I'm not an entrepreneur. I'm not that forward thinking. I'm not that visionary. So I think there's so much similarities in our stories. It's crazy. Within your, obviously with you being Polish and the language barriers and location barriers, so on and so forth. So you started the business in 2018. Have you faced any particular challenges with the language barrier, or, anything like that that's kind of you've had to work through as you've started the business?
Probably not really. I think the only barrier I had was me.
Okay, interesting. Yeah, it's always the way.
Yeah. You see, when I started attending all of the businesses, all of the networking groups, then I wanted to work and learn from investors, from those entrepreneur people that achieve something in life. So they all was saying, if you want to start the career investing into property, start as a deal sourcer. So this was my start in end of 2018. I've just learned how to deal source property for investors. I've just took my kids everywhere for any viewings. They had so much fun. So in here, there was maybe a bit of like when call the agents and try to book and they cannot pronounce your name or what's the address, this kind of like issues. But there is always email to read through or something I could send them. So there wasn't too much barrier about that. I think later when I noticed the gap between deal sourcing and staging, where not each deal is a deal, but those people need to move on with their life. So then I thought, I'm going to help them different way. And there was a bit of barrier with my view or my vision of I'm ready, I'm gonna help them, I'm gonna go and speak to every agent in my local area just to say how beautiful idea I've got, I can help them. And that was a wall where they didn't get that. For them was just more important to sign the contract and whatever, if the house gonna sell today or in 2 weeks or in 2 years. So maybe that was the first barrier to that people didn't know what home staging is.
Yeah, sure. And I guess you've been banging that drum ever since in terms of.
Yeah, and it's still the process of educating everyone.
Yeah, sure.
But yeah, then I think this also put me on a side thinking like, oh, maybe it's not that. Maybe they just don't like because I speak differently. Maybe it's not that they don't want to do the staging. So my brain just started to throw all of these negative things like, oh, it's because of you are Polish or because you speak differently, so I have to work on my mindset a lot to overcome this. But to be honest, I met so many lovely people, clients who trust me, who believes me in what I'm doing. And every time I share anything on social media, they came back to me and someone else noticed me and wanted to work with me. So yeah, I've just tried to use my vibration and mindset, like all of the good things happening to me, lovely people coming to me. So over those, I don't know, 16, 17 years I live in UK, I didn't have any bad situation that people actually say, oh, you are Polish and they've been mean to me or anything like that. No, they all lovely people. So I love UK. I love England.
So obviously you mentioned there that you're often the biggest barrier with those kind of unhelpful thoughts in your mind. So in those moments where you think an unhelpful thought, what thought do you counteract that with? Because we all need support and mindset, every single one of us. What do you think when you think, oh, this could be because of this? What's the counter thought that you think?
I think, first of all, you need to catch those thoughts about you. Because so many people I can see, they blame everyone else about what they think. So I was thinking that, oh, I'm Polish and they may think the same things and that's bad. But then when I start just, noticing, actually, this is just your thoughts. Maybe they thinking something else. So it's not to blame them that you don't have job. It's you, just change the thinking. So when I just start catching myself, like, what about thinking this way?
Yeah,
what
definitely.
about is just not the product for them? Maybe they just don't understand this.
Yeah,
so I just try to, switch my thinking, like stop. Like when I realize I'm just thinking negative in my head, just stop. And then how I can think differently, like in a positive way. So that's helped me. But yeah, it took me a bit to just realize that I'm thinking wrong way.
Yeah. And it can be the biggest hindrance to business growth, can't it? Your own mind. And it's definitely something I've harnessed myself as I've grown over the years. As I've gone through those stages and gone up levels. It's like, okay, let's say, for example, I'm thinking, oh, I'm not good enough. This isn't good enough. Why would anyone believe in me to do this thing? Like, I'll internalize and I'll kind of go back on myself and say, well, I mean, you've kind of got this whole portfolio that you've done and all of these results. So you must have been doing something right. So that unhelpful thought just needs to have a lid on it. But yeah, it's always good to touch on mindset in and around business because I think it shows up in different ways at the different stages. So talk to us now about Pearl Home Staging and kind of like, first of all, I'd like to know, where does the name come from?
Oh, that's interesting story. Well, or maybe not. Yeah, I was thinking about name. What's the name for my business? And first I wanted Aura, AURA, like, nice aura around you. And my daughter name is Aurelia. So in a short, we call her Aura. But all of the name, when I Google on company house and any website, everything was taken. So I couldn't have that. So then I was thinking, what else? How else I want to call myself? And then I thought Pearl, because we called my daughter as well Little Pearl since she was born.
I love that.
She was our Pearl. And yeah, Pearl was available. I just needed to add home. That was taken. So I've added design. But yeah, I like just Pearl Home. It's the main, yeah. And Pearl, it's something beautiful as well. It's hidden somewhere that you have to discover, and all of those homes are quite often, hidden because of the clutter, or they empty and loft. So when you just bring all of the potential, you showcase the beauty of it. So I think that's much the name as well.
I can vaguely remember, probably going back maybe 3 or 4 years now, first coming across you on Instagram. And I can literally remember my first thought was looking at your stuff thinking, she knows what she's doing. Because you just know when and you can see another fellow designer and you think that's good. And obviously I've gone on to refer you to different people in my network as well for your services. And they've all come back and gone, oh my God, she's amazing. Like everything she does is wonderful. So I love that story about the name. That's amazing. Did you ever have a plan B, with the business? If it didn't go the way you hoped, was there a backup option?
No.
No,
you see, because I've just I just felt I need to do this. There was never a plan behind it. That's all my intuition just direct me to do it, and we'll see what's gonna be. I just one day decided I'm gonna be a yes woman, and saying yes for everything, and then try to figure out how to do it. And just, all of that, since I had the first projects, I was telling everyone what I do, what I want to do. And it just started with one client.
Yeah, sure.
And So there was never plan B for this, because I didn't expect it's going to be that big.
Yeah, and you just felt it was right.
Yeah, I just felt it's right. It was like because I was still working part-time. So there was just extra income, like I convert my hobby into a business, but I still enjoyed. So there was never structure, system behind. I've just done it. That's why I met you, to come back to beginning and work on all of the structures and systems and automation, just, to have so I can feel I've got a proper business, instead of just hobby.
Yeah. So you're definitely in the growth stage of business now, aren't you? So just tell us then, what does that look like for you now in terms of team and systems? Where are you at?
Oh, it's so exciting time, to be honest. Literally, it's, when you start and doing everything yourself, from building furniture, asking husband to transport some of the heavy stuff to apartment, and then you spend the whole day like working, physically. Then you start finding people who can help you lift the furniture, assemble furniture. Then later on, I had a girl that I've trained as a home stager to be my stylist. And then eventually, I've got another girl. She's helping me with all of the business things, let's say, all of the system implementation, the planning behind. So it's good to have someone who you can brainstorm with as well. So we spent 3 hours yesterday planning the furniture packs. So there is a lot of work behind doing all of the research. Maybe some people doing this, at the very beginning, if they know they want to set up the business. For me, now I feel like I'm reinventing my business, like redoing from scratch. So it's again like coming back to the beginnings, because I was at the moment where I felt like I burned out because there was so much work. It was project after project. And, with this kind of work, it's very creative work. You need to have the space to create. Some idea came to you. And I think I'm at good stage now to step back, let some people do it, some work for me, and just grow and scale. I've got so many ideas, to add it on as extra services. And now I've got people who can help me, or thanks to you, I know who I need to look at. Other people as well, like more admin help, please. Marketing. Yeah, it's yeah.
Like one of my things I say all the time is like, it's very simple. Like, if you want to grow a business and scale a business, then you've got to grow a team, because you cannot do it all on your own, right? For so many reasons, being a solo operator is just, it's just such hard work. And you and I both have similar stories in where it's like burnout is, it did get me burnout. And it was like, right, I've got to change. I've got to bring on staff because I've got something here that needs investment for it to be able to grow, but I can't do it by myself, because guess what? I'm not a finance expert, and I'm not a operations expert. I'm not a systems expert. Like, I'm none of those things. I'm the designer. I'm really good at that. So I need to build a business where I can do that a lot and focus on that, and then build other people in that they can then, facilitate the other bits, which then enables you to then grow. And I think definitely this end of last year when we met, you were very much at that stage where it's like, okay, we've kind of almost got to just put the brakes on a little bit, kind of get the operations to a point where, it does it without you, basically. That's what we're looking to build. So in terms of, for you, because obviously home staging actually is quite a stock intensive business, isn't it, really? Because you've got pretty decent inventory that you use. How did you kind of, set that up and fund that in the early stages?
I think the way how I've started, and the way it's me as a Polish, maybe I don't like spend too much on things that I don't have to. I can figure out how to do it. I can sacrifice some space at home till I really have to spend the money. So I've started with a lot of service accommodation projects. So client pay for the furniture and they pay me for my fee. So I save everything what I needed. When I've started doing staging for sale and I needed to purchase furniture, then I always try to quote so client will cover all of the costs of furniture. So I didn't actually have to invest too much anything on my money. So
that was a conscious decision in the early stages.
Yeah,
smart with the service offering. Yeah.
Yeah. That. So I had some savings, so I could use some of the money to purchase before clients pay me back. So that was the pillow. But then, even though I didn't want it to invest too much in the furniture, because that's overheads. You have to add the overheads to your business because of the storage. So first I used my loft. Then quite often I store furniture in spare room. But this motivates me to find another project quickly, so I can get rid of all of my furniture from house. So the kit, it's just working for me. All of the furniture is working for me and earn me money. But I was one day at the stage where I couldn't fit all of the furniture in my house. So I've just decided to rent like a self-storage unit. So I've started with one, then second one, then third one. And I was like, it was a nightmare. So I live around Leeds. When they've started renovating, I'm 62. Usually I had 25 minutes drive to storage unit. When was the renovation, they took me 40 minutes. And then when you're there, you have to remove everything to pull out something that is right at the back of the unit. Then put back everything, leave the items that you take in for installation at the front. And just imagine I had in 3 different level 3 units. So the day in the morning when you come in to collect all of the furniture, instead of take you half an hour to load the van, took us 1 hour, because you have to use the lift and you limit it on the trolley to move the furniture. So it was really, really frustrating. then quite often I have to take kids with me. After my husband back home, we went there to prepare for installation. Kids slept on the trolley, bless them. But yeah, it was like the moment I can't live like that anymore. I know I'm paying less money, but then I started looking for bigger storage. And I wanted not spend too much money on it as well, but have big enough and close enough to my house so I can just pop in anytime I want. And I look for 6 months to find the perfect one. And the funny is, in the town where I quite often driving through, I thought they only had offices for rent, because there was always big banner, office to rent. And then my potential client called me. And then I was again at the stage when I was asking everyone if anyone know any storage nearby. And he said, oh, my cousin actually got some storage unit for rent, and I think it's going to be available from July. And I said, oh, give me the number. So I called him, contacted, and yeah, just was available from July. And it's 5 minutes from my house.
Wow.
So I moved to bigger permission, which is amazing. Now, I've got racking and more racking coming tomorrow. To place the furniture higher to the ceiling. So yeah, it's exciting, but yeah, everything step by step. Just, I'm just pushing myself to the limit where it's like, that's it. You can't live this way. I'm taking space for kids, in a living room, because they was constantly sitting on the boxes. Oh yeah, I need it. Well, it's the mindset, isn't it? It's the mindset when you just need to think like you're a businesswoman, you're running a real business. You can't just pretend it's not. It's just a hobby. It's a real business. You need to act as a business owner and invest in it. So that was, for me, learning about business mindset as well, because no one in my family had ever business. So I didn't know what I'm doing. I'm accidentally business owner. So yeah, a lot to learn. But yeah, I love that. Every day there is something to learn, something new.
I do think though, one of the biggest mindset tools in business is putting the value on time. You mentioned there about it taking me an hour to get there, maybe like 2 hours there, the kids are asleep. Like, okay, the actual physical cost going out the bank's a lot smaller, but like the time it's costing, why are we undervaluing time here? It's your biggest asset that you've got. So if it costs you more, but it means you can grow comfortably, then you go for it. But like, yeah, it's not always, if we'd have been working together at that point, I would have been like, we need to get a different unit ASAP. Because for me, it's very much about being proactive, not reactive to a situation. And that is a perfect example of that. But your warehouse sounds amazing. I bet it's like Santa's grotto with furniture when you go in there. What are your supporting team in the warehouse? Like, 'cause I know you've got multiple installations happening every single week. Like what are your team on the ground? What are they like? How many are in the team and what do they do?
Right. So there is a guy with like man and van. Mm-hmm. So he's coming always to help that. And there is handyman and there is me and stylist. Yeah. So it's usually 4 of us going to house bigger than like 3 beds up. So that's more of everything. I'm still designing all of the design concept for each property for sale. Still got inventory to do. Mm-hmm. At the moment, it's still everything in my head on a picture.
Don't tell me this.
I've got so many pictures of every furniture I own, but it's just the case of, having structure. So this is what we work in as well with my girl, just to sort out this, but everything at the time. But it's on our list to do. So then I will be able to outsource that as well. Can't wait to do this. But yeah, it's just good to have team who can support you. So for example, if we're doing this staging, I'm not going anymore for this staging. where I used to go and pack everything. So the staging kits after the house is sale or the furniture rental contract finish, then I was usually going with one guy or maybe two and pack everything to van and then move back to warehouse, where now I've outsourced that completely. So I've just sending team. They do all of the packing. They placing everything in the warehouse. They very good with like logistic thinking, where to place items. I've got separate room for accessories and cushions and all of that. So all of that going to one room, the rest furniture going where they're supposed to go. So yeah, that's really a lot of hours for me as well. And as you said, I wasn't thinking about that. I will have to say thank you to my husband for pushing me. He was like, I'm not always available to help you. So you need to find someone who can help you. So I was always like angry at him, like, why can you help me? Why I'm using my money, hard money I work for, to pay someone if you could help me. But now I know it's just thanks to that I grow quickly, because you can see there is still a lot of company that is like a family business. They doing all together. The husband is the handyman, the driver, and doing everything, where I've just built the team, and I'm so grateful for that.
Yeah, and it's not scalable, is it? If you've got, family members all involved and so on and so forth, that's just not scalable. I'm just going to jump in and interrupt this episode to let you guys know that I now have spaces available to join my business coaching program. If you're sat there and you're thinking, I've got this idea and I really want to get going with it, or you've started your business idea and you're ready to grow, but you're just not quite sure how to go to that next level, then I absolutely hear you. My job as your business coach is to be your support, to be your sounding board in your corner, to keep you on track and to keep you accountable. So if you're ready to embrace a marketing strategy, to think about being visible, to build a team, to build out systems so you can grow, so you can scale, then reach out to me. You can slip into my DMs on Instagram _BEESPACE, or head to the show notes below where you can go onto my website, which is www.b-space.co.uk, and you can read all about my business coaching program, what's involved, how much it costs, and arrange a call to have a chat with me and see how I can support you. Now, let's get back to the episode. So you mentioned about family there, actually, and husband and kids. Obviously, you told us at the beginning you've got 2 children. Summarize for me what your experience has been of doing the mum juggle whilst, growing your business, growing your kids. What's that been like for you, and how have you kind of navigated it?
Roller coaster. I set up my business May 2019. So the first 6 months was just as a start. I had 1, 2, maybe 3 projects and still, learning how to run business. And then pandemic came, 2020, kids at home, still working part-time, still growing business. So it was very challenging. So my son, by the time he just turned 3, my daughter was 7. So they still young age. But I took them everywhere. There was no choice. We don't have any family around us. So anywhere I went, they went with me. Any shopping, I've got so many pictures, with boxes at the back, seats folding down, one kid squeezing at the back, the other at front in the car seat. It was, sometimes was fun, sometimes was like, wanted to cry. It's like, what am I doing? Why I'm dragging you everywhere? Wouldn't be just easier to, leave them with grandma so they don't have to experience that? But they've been so good to me as well. They really try to help when they've been there with me at project, because there was some situation where I have to take them, drag my husband as well, especially at the beginning, straight after pandemic, the lockdown was lifted. And I had project to finish. So we was like all hands on. Kids was unpacking kitchen items. My husband was assembling something, me as well. So yeah, even with, going to, so the thing is, if I'm not taking them, then someone have to stay. So my husband have to stay with kids at home. Mm-hmm. Then I could go and do the staging. So if I wanted him to help me, then all of us needed to go.
I do think that, I mean, I can absolutely relate to everything you've just said in terms of family chaos and life. Do you know, genuinely, when I think about homeschooling and COVID, we were in a predicament because we're both self-employed. My daughter was 4, so she was in reception year, and she was such a madam, and that was just trying to homeschool her was impossible. And my son was 2, and it was just that time was awful. But I think, I often think about it, I think nothing was hard as that, so everything else is possible. And I do think, these little people that we raise while we're doing the juggle, they're getting to see a really good example of like hard work and what it takes to build a business. And I do get a bit of a buzz when, particularly my daughter now, who's coming up to 9, will ask me certain questions about business. And I'm raising an entrepreneur there. Similar to you, my background is nobody's had their own business in the family. You just get a job, you fit into the system, don't even go to uni, that, very working class. So I'm really trying to show best practice to the children. Tim and I both are best practice to our children, and say, this is, hopefully you will, and you can have your own businesses, and the kind of like, this is what we do day to day. And they've been dragged to many building sites. That's fair to say to them in the time. But yeah, I think it's a really powerful thing to showcase to the children. So yeah, what your story again really resonates with mine. So talk to me about Pearl Home staging then. Okay, so we know where we are now, we're at that real growth stage. We've got plans in terms of like systemization and services and the kind of like the offering, but what does that real scalable, bigger vision look like for you now? Where are we going?
We're going big.
Big. Good answer.
Right. It's, the dream is big. So I wish to have franchise per home design. I want to help new starters set up the business as well. I want to maybe move to English sector and train people how to be successful home stager. I'm getting more and more like inquiry. Where did you start? How to grow? What to do? So many people on Instagram, like there is everyday message from someone asking about it. And I've done a few training in Polish sector because it was just easier for me. Mm-hmm. So absolutely going this direction, education. But first, I want to scale my business, so don't need me in it constantly. I can just operate from the top, navigate, see what job can be done. I love networking, so you can see I'm everywhere. I'm just attending any networking, having, finding clients, keep relation with clients, and just, grow big and big.
Amazing.
And try to help as many people as possible, just to say staging is the key to your life, to move on. You can sell quickly, really. You can just build your portfolio quicker. You can then go on holiday. So that's what I try when I build a relation with clients and they saying me about their dreams. I feel like I'm responsible to help them as well. Because if I do a good job, they can scale their business, they can grow the portfolio faster, they can just go and do whatever they want. And at the same time, they helping me with my dreams. So it's like a win-win. And that's why I really appreciate that work.
I mean, for me, staging, is super, super powerful because not everybody is born with a designer's brain and the ability to execute. So again, the smart thing to do is to outsource to an expert, and the sort of ROIs, uplifts that you get on a better curated product, regardless whether it's something to sell or it's a service to accommodation, whatever the thing might be that you're working on, that adds so much significant value. It's literally crazy. And you get that product that you want at the end as well, in terms of that finished look and feel. So yeah, then that is why as you know, I've always referred clients over to you, like, go to this person. She is absolutely like just killing it. So then, Marta, my final question for you today. If you, if someone was sat there, okay, and they'd listen to your story now about how you have built Pearl from nothing, and they were thinking about taking the plunge into self-employment, what is the one bit of advice that you would give them?
I think one sentence that keep me going, and what I always try to say to someone, just start where you are with what you've got and do everything you can. Because this is what, instead of just looking for excuses, I'm not good with that, I'm not perfect, I'm not ready, there is something else I need to finish first. No, just start where you are with what you've got and do everything you can. And just do it. And then you will figure out how, if you really like that, because that's the things, we just creating the vision of perfect business. And then when we starting, we finding out actually it's not really what I wanted to do, or we're changing. And I can only say on my experience, but I know what I like till I actually touch things and do this. So like I've started with Occupy Staging, and this was my calling. I was hoping I can help all of those property that people still live in it, to then find out it's not my thing. I don't really want to touch this. I prefer empty property. So yeah, just start, try, experience that, and then you will find out if you like it or not, or if there is a different way.
And that's the thing, isn't it? Starting a business, going through challenges, making decisions, facing the hurdles. It is a step-by-step process. There is no quick, to a proper business, there is no quick win overnight. It does take, time and energy and careful consideration and strategy. So listen, Marta, thank you today for joining us and being so honest and sharing your story. It is truly inspiring. And so many people mention you to me all of the time. And I always tell you, this person asked after you, this person said this about you. I do truly believe that you are a complete inspiration to any female business owner out there in particular. And I am so invested in what you're building with Pearl and so excited for the future. So thank you for joining us today. Before you leave us, just let the lovely listeners know, where can we find you?
Right. Thank you so much for having me, Jade, and for being my coach as well. And yes, thank you for listening. So if you want to have a quick call or chat or find me somewhere, I'm on Instagram, perhome.design, and basically anywhere you type perhome.design, website, Facebook, LinkedIn, Marta Lyskawa, I'm there.
Amazing. Thank you, Marta.
Thank you so much.
That's a wrap for another episode of the BEESPACE Podcast. I've been your host, Jade McNeil, property developer, mentor, and business coach. Don't forget to subscribe on your favourite platforms. And until next time, remember, don't believe the hype and always keep it real.